Welcome everyone, and thank you for tuning in. My name is Vishal Ghotge, and I serve as the CEO of Kiva. And I'm really excited to be here today uh, with Steve Kaufer, the co-founder and CEO of Give Freely, and have a conversation about the intersection of technology and social impact. Steve, welcome. And I've been waiting for this conversation, eager to talk to you about your journey and Give Freely and talk about Kiva and Give Freely. So, welcome.
Thanks. It's really great to be here. Wonderful to have the opportunity. And I got to say, I've just been a huge admirer of Kiva for so many years. Proud that my prior company, TripAdvisor, was a corporate partner, longstanding. And of course, I've been a personal lender on the platform as well. You guys do great stuff.
I know that, and thank you. Thank you for both being a great partner with Kiva, but being a lender on Kiva. And as Kiva is the whole impact of Kiva is through its lenders, and so really appreciate that. And for anyone watching who may not know, um, Steve, you founded a TripAdvisor back in 2000, and you've been at TripAdvisor or were at TripAdvisor for 22 years till 2022, when you stepped down and started Give Freely a year later. So I'm really curious to learn more about Give Freely and what inspired you to start a social technology impact company.
Absolutely. Had a terrific run at TripAdvisor. Really proud of the success there. But after a couple of decades, I'm like, hey, is there something new? Is there something exciting? And then it's like, well, what would that be? And fast forward through that decision process, I just fell in love with this notion of Give Freely. So first, what is Give Freely? It's uh, a browser extension that helps save you, the user, some money, while also mimicking Amazon Smile in that the affiliate fees, and this is what the store pays me when you buy something shopping, those will go to the charity of your choice.
Mhm.
So here's an opportunity to really do something I think of as very mission driven. So again, like TripAdvisor, like we help make people's vacations a little bit better. And we did that at a massive billion plus people scale. That's pretty fulfilling.
Mhm.
Now, can I get tens or even hundreds of millions of people using Give Freely, tapping into their everyday activity? Everybody is shopping online. We have over 10,000 partner stores. So, like, when you're doing that shopping online, you
Mhm.
can also be part of a generosity movement, part of giving to Kiva as an organization, public charity, or a different charity organization, but kind of like giving back with the thing that you're doing anyways. So, absolutely mission driven, focused on giving a good value proposition to consumers. And if I can help to scale this business,
Mhm.
I just think of it like it's potentially billions in impact, and that's exciting.
Yeah, that's great. I mean, I love the model. I love the fact that I would say like similar to TripAdvisor, it's using the power of the crowd, power of how people coming together, the community to create an impact.
Exactly. So, and there's I'm going to ask you about Kiva angle on this as well, because like we're both TripAdvisor and hopefully Give Freely and definitely Kiva have been built on these communities of users with a ton of tech underneath,
Mhm.
but driving that collective impact. Loan of $100 to the person I lent to on Kiva is nice, but by itself, kind of not enough.
Mhm.
An author of 100 reviews on TripAdvisor, like 100 reviews is nice, but that's not going to help people. Getting to hundreds of millions, or TripAdvisor now has a billion reviews. Wow, the power of that scale, being able to reach out to so many reviewers. Forgive freely, having 100 shoppers, uninteresting. Having 10 million shoppers, uh, yeah, now we're talking some impact. And so,
Mhm.
uh, I can go on for a long time about the power of the collective
Yeah.
voice to be able to make an impact. but Kiva's already an expert at that. So
That's right. And as you know, being long-term Kiva lenders, like collective action is the absolute cornerstone and the founding premise of Kiva. It's that people coming together as individuals, but coming together as a group, they can bring about large-scale systemic change, and that's been the premise of Kiva. And it's shown. It's been 18 years, and the impact that's been created in the world is just it gives me goosebumps when I see how much impact people with their $25, $100 loans have created over a period of time. Right? It's just astonishing.
so let me
Uh,
put you on the spot. How much
yeah.
has Kiva lent out over all these years?
So last year we celebrated a big moment. We reached $2 billion
Oh,
in loans
jeez.
dispersed
There you
in
go.
the past
Wow.
18 years. So we reached about 5 million people around the world uh, through these loans, and over 2 million people have been lenders on Kiva who have made this happen. And so it's astonishing. I mean, the numbers are just mind-boggling.
Yeah, and so that's just it. With a couple of million lenders, you're able to reach the capital B billion stage of impact. TripAdvisor, it did it, and we weren't even asking people to pull out their wallet. You've got actual lenders donating or lending this money and then recycling it. Fantastic model. Again, big fan, been a supporter for a long time with Give Freely. The notion of being able to ask people to download something, install into their Chrome browser, and then they can kind of forget about Give Freely because you don't need to remember to go back. I loved Amazon Smile by way of comparison, but you
Yeah.
still had to remember to go to smile.amazon.com.
Mhm.
And people think the program wasn't successful. Totally not true. In their final years, they were generating $100 million a year in charitable donations, and that was on 0.5%
Mhm.
commission or affiliate fee. Average stores on Give Freely are in the 3 or 4% range, anywhere from 2 up to 10 or 15%. So, like, more stores, a better sort of affiliate fee that again turns into the donation. And I'm thinking, hey, if I can I get 50 million users? My guess is that 50 million users will be a billion, and that'll
Mhm.
be a billion per year for as many years. And my users, they don't have to love Give Freely, but I can promise you when, because it's literally happened to me, as you're shopping around, you're not thinking about any charitable contribution. You're thinking, I need some more ink for my printer. And so I go to staples.com and I buy some more ink. And then the little box pops up and says, hey, would you like to donate 2.6% of this purchase to, to Kiva? I'm like, yeah, that would be cool. I was thinking about it. I hit activate. Happens. Didn't cost me anything more. And now a little bit more happens. And if that goes on with all of my shopping, and Give Freely also finds you discounts and saves you money as an individual as well. But the what we're talking about, the power of the collective action to
Mhm.
be able to generate those numbers with the B in front of them, hey, super motivating. Me personally, kept me off the beach or the golf course or whatever. I could retire, but no interest in
I
it.
love that. Steve, I love these models where you're not asking the customer or the user to do something different. It's in there. This is what you do anyways, and it's actually provides. It's a win-win-win, right? In many ways, and those are the ones that are successful and make it easy and obvious for people to do the things they're doing and
Yeah.
generate benefits out of it. So I
And one other
love these models.
tiny plug for Give Freely because I'm so passionate about it is like I looked at the other couponing extension stuff out there and I tried a bunch. And like, I don't want to get a deal email every day. That's just spam to me. Personally, I don't even want people buying more than they need. I'm not a big, like, everybody needs more goods. No. But everyone does need ink for their printer. Everyone does need the things that they're already buying. And so We don't spam you. We don't sell your information. The thing is, private, safe, secure. I'm not in the data selling advertising business. We're doing it to help these causes. And literally every penny I get from the store turns around and goes to the charities. And I'm technically not a nonprofit, but for all intents and purposes, am. I'm not looking to. I have no investors. Not looking to build a business and sell it to anyone. This is a mission-driven passion project.
Great. I love that. And I think the one thing I always connect is from Kiva's example and other places as I've been at as well. Whenever you're talking about a collective action, right? Whenever you're talking about crowd, it is, I feel, inherently linked with technology, because that is how you get the massive scale, and the law of large numbers. And to be able to get that, technology is a cornerstone. It's always been for Kiva, right? We've always been, if crowd was a key founding cornerstone, then technology was the other cornerstone, and these connecting together created the change and the movement that we've seen. I wonder whether, like, you see it the same way.
I absolutely do. With TripAdvisor, it was kind of the power of organizing all of this information in a way that our users wanted to find it. We were not, TripAdvisor was not the first site to create the notion of user reviews or even travel reviews. But we were the first site that organized it so that if you wanted to go to Paris, this is where you could go to find all the information organized in a way that made sense.
Mhm.
And that was like no small feat. There's lots of restaurants, knowing which ones are similar name but on a different street. Like, how do you organize all of that? And
Mhm.
technology played a critical role. For Give Freely, this like browser extension technology, we didn't invent that. We're simply using it in this way that makes it so easy for our users to literally inject generosity into stuff that they're doing anyways.
Mhm.
And my secret, not so secret mission here is like, and if people can realize that these small acts of donation are really going to help Kiva, to help a cancer society, to help any organization that they have an affinity for, and they start to see how the collective action is having a bigger impact,
Mhm.
and they start to see this larger answer to all the pressing challenges around the world, specifically the one they have an affinity to. Now, are they a little bit more likely to help out, to get involved, to volunteer, to spread the word because they feel a better connection?
Mhm.
I'm modestly philanthropic. I get a ton of emails and a ton of regular postal mails for the charities. And I, I don't want to sound rude, but I don't even open most of the email. I don't open most because I have a little affinity. I donate a little bit, but I'm not ready to be involved. The ones that I am more passionate about, even that, it's hard for them to reach me. But through this, in my case with Give Freely browser extension technology, I can now insert that into something you're doing anyways. And every time my favorite charity pops up on the screen, I think, yeah, that's great. And I feel a little bit closer. And so when
Mhm.
that charity messages me to like, hey, come to an event, do a walkathon, donate, I'm much more likely because I've seen it
Mhm.
multiple times every month as opposed to 9 months ago when I gave a donation. It's like raising the average level of a person's involvement financially or with their time with the cause they care the most about.
Mhm.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, it's great. Yeah, I think those nudges are important, and there's attention. I mean, there's so many things taking your attention these days, right? It's
Right.
just probably the most scarce resource is attention.
Very, very, very true.
Um, one thing, I mean, we can't have a discussion about technology without talking about AI. So I wonder whether have you given it a thought? Like, is there anything, whether it's TripAdvisor, and Give Freely, how, like, where do you think AI is going to play a role in the
I,
spaces?
Yeah, I'm a huge believer that what we're going through right now, 2024, is a major shift in how technology can play a role in our lives. And I'm on record as having been skeptical of blockchain and NFT and crypto and things that might have a place, but not massive impact. This is another kind of iPhone moment.
Mhm.
This isn't the first AI. iPhone wasn't the first smartphone, but it became apparent that that was going to change the way so many of us lived our lives.
Mhm.
You look today and say, of course, I'm using AI at Give Freely. It's an awesome marketing copywriter for me. I type in and I hit 5 times refresh, refresh until I find the copy I personally like the best, and then I use that. We also have someone that does it better than I, so it's not in this case replacing anything. It's augmenting for sales, for information, for research. It's like pick your engine. I'm not sure it matters all that much, but of course, there's a way. Literally, every person in the organization can
Mhm.
leverage some AI at least a little bit.
Mhm.
Uh, can it write code for us? It's already writing some code for us. Yay. Can it design what we want to do next? No, I'm not ready for that, or it's not good enough to do
Maybe.
that yet. But we'll see how it's going to
Yeah.
change. Uh, uh, but what about you? What your tech team, your entire company?
Yeah, likewise. I think internally for we've obviously used it for lots of our internal processes right now. I use it when I'm writing stuff. It helps me exactly as you said. Like it to me, it's a partner. Like, hey, this is my initial idea. Help me refine it, and like I get really interesting nuggets of wisdom, if you will. Right? Like, oh, I never thought about this angle. So I think as far as writing and generating ideas go, I use it a lot as a to brainstorm, and a lot of people in the organization do as well. And again, for lots of processes, obviously, our developers are using AI to make them more efficient. But beyond that, I think from a business perspective, I think we are still scratching the surface, and there are places where I know that we can do more, and we are already investigating. A good example is. As will go with any marketplace, if you will, the better you match, better recommendations you give, to somebody coming in, the higher your chances of they being interested. That's always true with Kiva as well. Like we always like, what is the kind of person you would want to support, and what is the cause that you are most interested in? How we surface that, and we've always had recommendation engines for that. But now with AI and using natural language processing, what can we do better to help somebody find the exact person, exact cause that they're interested in, right? That's something that I think it could be a huge leap where, it could come to Kiva and I can chat and say, hey, what are you here for? And like, you can actually explore through a conversation of what Kiva is, why you should be here, as opposed to why you should put your money here. How does it help? Who should you support? Maybe even I love what LinkedIn's doing these days. I see their new experiment they're running. You can see a post and there are these key takeaways that you see, where you can take a post and say, what is someone saying in this? I can imagine a point in Kiva where you're saying there is a loan that you have. You can go and say why this, like what is exactly happening in this country, for example. Like why should I be interested in why would my dollars should go here? Who is this partner that I'm working with, and what is their history? I can learn all this through AI, and that could be phenomenal in terms of generating people's interest, getting them more getting them more knowledge, and then getting them actually contributing the dollars. So I think there's a lot we can do to educate and inspire people using the right AI technologies.
That,
uh,
that, there
we're
really is.
scratching the
Couldn't agree
surface.
more. The a little wistful that I'm not running TripAdvisor now, because when you think of travel and you think of how many people say, I'd love to go on vacation. Here are my constraints. TripAdvisor was awesome at saying, I want to go to Paris
Yes.
with my kids for a week. What's a good place to stay? What things should I do? Okay. But for the more generic or the more general query,
Yeah.
like, didn't, we tried a few times, never
Yeah.
worked. A
Yeah.
conversation
Yeah.
with essentially AI, letting me iterate through and creating that itinerary. And then maybe in a year or so, like looking through the, and so we're going to Sagrada Familia in Barcelona. Well, that's, of course, I'm going to visit there. But do I want to take this tour, this tour? You know,
Yes.
there's 5 different ways to see it, and having a chat with what's best for me or me and my family, and then be able to also, is there availability? How about booking a 2 o'clock slot?
Mhm.
Like making that so easy. TripAdvisor has already done kind of like what LinkedIn has in terms of summarizing the reviews. Like, we got 10,000 reviews on the Bellagio Hotel.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to read more than the top few, which happen to be very recent, but not necessarily completely representative. Here's a great summary of the past year. Here's a
Yeah.
great summary of the past year if you are a gambler, if you are a business person, if you're like, that's nice. Now I'm getting the short version of someone like me to help me make my decision. And yeah,
Yeah.
AI delivering that. And I agree, we're scratching the surface.
I
And
agree, and I mean, I was in the travel space as well years ago, and I've always this is the query that I make always in used to be in Google was always 5 day itinerary to go here and with kids and like I again the matches were terrible. Like you get something, sometimes you're not, and we just planned a couple of trips in the last year, and I had like I started again with using ChatGPT and saying this is who I am. These are my ages of my kids. This is what we like doing. This is where we're going. Give me an itinerary. And I mean, of course, that's not the exact itinerary we followed, but it's like, oh, this is how we could structure them and say, oh, we want to have a time when we're not doing like have me a little bit more downtime and like added that. So it's just great to get that initial idea on which then you can iterate from. So it's
yeah,
amazing. I mean, seeing that integrated into travel sites and then creating that concierge service is just going to be mind blowing. It's just coming.
and so I would suggest to anyone listening, it's not a question of if, it's a question of, are you an individual that's able to drive change in your professional life to incorporate AI? Could be back office, could be automating stuff, could be user facing, could just be as an assistant to whatever your creativity is. But I don't, there might be some displacement, but it's still the
Yeah,
opportunity to create more jobs and make everyone that much more productive.
yeah,
Fantastic, awesome, if you do it. And if you sit back and, like, I have a couple of friends that just complain about it, like, yeah, don't miss this boat.
yeah,
This is a way to become that much more effective at whatever you do for a living. And I use it on the personal side as well. Hint to audience, it's great at writing speeches. Rhyming speeches, speeches for your kids' birthdays. Not that I would ever admit to using a tool for, although I publicly acknowledged I used ChatGPT to help me with a commencement address that I gave. Crowd loved it.
yeah. Well, I see it as this is it's the it gets you going. It's the initial ideas. It helps you figure this out, and I think going back to your earlier point, I really feel right now we're in an age where you're going to be limited not by execution but by ideas. And so you're like, if you have the idea, then that like if you have the creativity, then I think it helps you get to the next step faster than you would have. So um, it's great. Well, let's bringing it back. Just wanted to again talk a little bit about Kiva and Give Freely and how we are partnering together as well. Do you want give a few words of how our users combined users can use Give Freely?
So, Give Freely supports awesome philanthropic efforts exactly like what Kiva does. And Kiva's a upstanding organization in our database, and we have a million others. The opportunity, as I kind of started with, is, hey, if we can get millions of people to download Give Freely, to install it, uh, that would make literally just make the world a better place. To have those donations go to Kiva particularly doubles the effort, right? It's like, hey, it's a donation and it gets lent and relent over and over again. That's the power of your model. So my plug, my plea is like, go to givefreely.com, click on the download link, install it, takes 60 seconds. We don't spam you, it's completely private. Uh, Select Kiva as your charity of choice, and I give a $20 promotional discount, not discount, donation immediately to Kiva. I want Kiva to really succeed. I love donating, lending. I don't even think of as donation so much, but I've also donated directly to Kiva to support the organization, and so I love the notion of what you guys do for a living. And if you can get 10,000, 100,000 users of Give Freely, that 20, like imagine you got 25,000 folks listening to this to download and select Kiva. I'm writing a $500,000 check straight to the organization, in addition to all of the donations that are made by all these people week in, week out for whenever they're shopping at a partner store online. You can do that on, you can click the link. Sorry, back up. The one thing I need you to do, or Kiva really wants you to do, is to allow me to track it. So you can do that by selecting Kiva as the organization when you install Give Freely, or just go to the bottom of Kiva's homepage, click the link that says support us with Give Freely, and that link will automatically select Kiva. But if you go through that link, you can also select another charity, and I'm still giving $20 to Kiva. So, kind of in both cases, whether you go to our site and select Kiva or you go to Kiva's homepage, it's automatically selected. But if you change it, that's fine too. Kiva comes out a winner. Give Freely loves to have more supporters, more users, and I in all of my chats with as many people as I've spoken with, I can't really find anyone that has a reason not to do it because it doesn't cost you anything. It saves you money with coupons and you get donations on stuff you're buying anyways. And you don't have to remember to do anything, but I have to ask people to take the 1 or 2 minutes to actually go time out of your day and install. And that's my ask.
Great. Well, thank you so much, Steve. Firstly, thanks for again being a supporter of Kiva, a lender, donor. Really appreciate it.
My
And thanks to
privilege.
people like you, we are able to reach more underserved communities across the world and provide financial access to them. And that's our mission. And it is through supporters like you that we are able to reach that mission. So thank
And
you.
the thing I like, I want to make sure everyone also understands about Kiva is that it's built to keep on giving. It's built to like help a set of entrepreneurs get going with their loan, become self-sufficient, and then that money is recycled again to the next set. So it is the, for that old adage that people might be tired of hearing, it's not handing out food, it's teaching someone to fish. It's enabling them to become self-sufficient, which to my mind is the true power and the reason I'm a passionate supporter.
Yes. Thank you so much. And thanks for this enlightening conversation. Was great discussing philanthropic initiatives, social impact, and technology. And so, thank you for your time.
An absolute pleasure. Thanks for the chat.